Hey everybody, in this video we'll talk about assembling and setting up your F1 and F2 surface mount fences. So here's the F2. It comes bare and we're going to put the fence blocks in it. So just remember the fence block goes in the tall side. And it's also the wider side. That's another way to think of it, because this is going to be the position it's in when you're using it. So you're going to take your fence blocks. And you can see we've got a T-bolt here and a little neck, and that's going to fit right in this slot. Okay, so just line up the T-bolt, leave it a little bit loose, slide that in, it goes in like butter. We'll do the other one. Okay, so those can be put, of course, anywhere along the length, depending on where you want to use the fence. And so we'll begin by talking about where we can put it on the Gen 2 dashboard top. So we have a series of special holes toward the back edge of the top that are designed just for the initial application. So we've got these holes that are back closer to the edge, and you can choose whichever ones you want to use. Now when I'm using this fence, it's going to be under the guide rail. So I need to leave room, at least, for a fence block to be out of the way of the guide rail as it comes down, okay? So this hole is as close as you can put a fence block on the fence and still have it work. So let's say I'm going to use this hole for the other one. I have expand dogs in the fence block, which will secure it in the 20mm holes, any 20mm holes. And so if we just leave those a little bit loose, we can just line these up with those holes and they drop right in. Of course, at this point, you can also go like this. And you just want to make sure that it's not going to interfere with the guide rail when it drops down. So let's say I'm going to put it here. The thing to do first is tighten the fence block in position laterally on the fence. Now, I'm going to tighten the expand dogs to hold it to the table. I recommend pushing back a little bit as you're doing that, just as sort of a basic everyday exercise, because you're going to have two fences, and if you make sure that you have a little bit of rearward pressure on both of them, they'll be much more likely to be lined up. So that's the basic install. You do the same thing with the F1. But let's say that you are someone who wants more. You are not willing to settle for second best. You want this to go to 11. We can also put the F2 and the F1 on track stars to get more crosscut capacity. So let's take a look at the fence blocks. Once again, I'm going to take this out of here. So if I just remove the expand dog from the block, you can see we have two sets of holes. So if I want to install this fence on the track stars to get more crosscut capacity, I'm going to use this set of these holes farther back on the block. So we'll just reassemble that. Just takes a moment. And I left my washer out. Let's do that again. Always put the washer on. We'll keep our anodized surfaces nice and tidy. Anyway, so that's on there. Leave that a little bit loose. I'll move this other one. You can see it just takes a moment. Not that you would be doing this all day long, but we try to keep it simple. And so now I'm going to put this in the front hole, special hole on the track stars that's just made for this. So I'll need to move the fence block a little bit so that I can line them up and just leave those loose until I can find those holes with each of those expand dogs, pop that in there. So now, let's say I'm going to move the fence over a little bit so it's more aligned with where I want to support my material. And then I will secure the knobs in the back to locate the fence left and right. And then, again, secure these knobs from the top. And then I have this fence pushed all the way back. And if you take a quick look here, you will see we've maximized the capacity because the fence does clear the riser on the rear guide rail bracket, so it can come up and go down depending on the thickness of what you're cutting. but you'd still get the maximum capacity out to the front guide rail bracket. So you can do this with both fences, and that will get you maximum capacity and maximum satisfaction. You will also have a flip stop, which goes in here in the top slot. As you might imagine, this is reversible. You could run it in either direction. You might want to get a little bit more capacity out this way, in which case you would just turn it around and it'll stick out a little farther here. So that is how you set up and use the F1 and F2 surface mount fences.